Hello, everyone. Welcome to Optical Obsessed, episode 6. It is May 11th. I was going to say it's Friday, May 11th, but it's not. It's Wednesday, May 11th, and this is going to be a really interesting show because we're going to go through some social media posts that I found on the web that are all optical related, all optician related, and I think we're all going to be very surprised by some of the comments that I've blocked all the names out. The purpose of this show is not to throw anyone under the bus because these are all really good questions. I believe in optical, there's no stupid question. Every question's a good question. We all grew up in optical and optometry and different eras, and we have some of us have really good mentors, some have no mentors, and that's why we're here. So hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. As always, feel free to keep the chat lively. If you have questions, please put them in the chat, and I'll put the questions up on stage, answer them as we go. This is going to be interactive, and you're more than welcome to come participate on stage here. For some people in the audience, you probably already have some cool mugs that I sent you. So they're like this cool mug here, but branded Optical Obsessed. Hopefully you've had some good Mocha Joe through it, and tea, maybe some whiskey, whatever else you like to drink, whatever beverage is. So I want to thank a few repeat people that keep coming through. You're what make this possible. Bob Fessmeyer. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? Chrissy's just like an optical nomad. Someday we'll have to have Chrissy come on here and tell her stories. She goes to the bush in Alaska, and she fits Alaskans who are just totally out of cities with eyewear. It's really cool. And she flies in these little tiny planes. She doesn't fly in, but she sits next to a cute pilot, she tells me. What's up, Craig? Craig Chasnog with Itopian. Hey, David Salk. Man, I just know everyone here. This is fantastic. David owns Clip-On, and I forgot your optical name. It's a cool Clip-On. Probably David will have you come on soon and talk about your Blue Logic lenses. Drew with Fashion Forward. Hi, Irene. Thanks for coming back. John, welcome. Hey, Keith with GSRX Lab. Candy, Melanie with Steed Eye Care. Welcome. Michael. We have Nathan. Welcome. Hey, Quay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and let's start with some of the presentation first. So first, we're going to start off with a little slide deck, and then we're going to move into the video portion. It's a little more interactive. So like I said, there is no right, there is no wrong, and there is no in between. It's up to our discretion of what we think of optical, okay? So things that you read online, you have to take it with a grain of salt. And I don't even know, what does a grain of salt even mean? We have these all like sayings in life, and somehow they get stuck in the back of your brain, but I'm not sure what grain of salt means. If anybody knows what that actually means, will you put it in the chat so I can learn about this stuff? So what is a grain of salt? All right, so let's move through here. Okay, so what I did is I went through some Facebook groups and I screenshotted just some really things that I thought were dumb or really clever. And this is not a knock on the person. It's just like, if people are asking these questions, or there's other people asking those questions, so it's important that we answer this in a public forum. And as you know, I'm going to give you the Perry Brill version of this. And you can believe it, not believe it, that's okay, but at least you have one perspective. So I'm going to read this one out to you. As a VSP provider, do we need to carry Marchand? So if you're not familiar with Marchand, Marchand's a mega frame company, and they're owned by the lovely Vision Service Plan. And they were not always owned by Vision Service Plan. I don't know what year the acquisition happened. I'm sure maybe in the early 2000s. If there's any optical veterans here, you can let me know. And Marchand is famous for, I can't even remember all the brands. Nike, and there's Ferragamo. I'm just going to go to their website and tell you what it is right now. Okay, so we have, took me some other website, Marchand. Let's go to their catalog. Calvin Klein. You guys can rattle them off in the chat if you know the brands by heart. Let's see, here's the brands. Okay, Calvin Klein, Columbia, Converse, Cutler and Gross, Dragon, Longchamp, Nautica, Nike, Skaga, Nine West, Paul Smith, Lacoste, Lanvin, Flexon. Flexon's a major brand still, the memory metal. And so I would consider their brands. Some of them are 4th tier, 5th tier, okay? Is anybody buying Skaga today? How about BB? I think BB is the one that always had the sparkly whatever on the chest. So why are people buying Marchand? Why are practices providing Marchand? Well, the real reason is VSP has a program called Premier. And the goal of any vision plan was to create this ecosystem where we provide you the vision plan, we provide you the frames, provide you the lenses, force you into a lab, and you essentially become our little rabbit, and we'll feed you patients. 2008 Marchand was acquired. Thanks, Drew. Airlock is terrible. Just saying. Yeah, Airlock is their silhouette competitor. Michael said Flexon is awesome for construction workers or kids are rough. I completely agree. Flexon's a great product, and for what it is, I mean, there's a lot of other competitive products out there, but Flexon has really a market share that's huge, huge. So do we really need Marchand? What is special about Marchand? I'm just curious. Does anybody in their practice here or in your dispensing days, does anyone come in asking for Nike? Nike frames? Anybody? I don't think so. So Bob said it right. And I'm going to just post this question up on the stage here. So Bob said, you become a VSP practitioner, their frames, their labs, their patients. So that's right. That's exactly right. Now, the one thing VSP does really well, and you could probably attest to this, everybody, is they have wonderful customer service. I think we can all agree VSP nailed it. Whoever's in charge of their customer service team freaking crushes it. They crush it. And then when you call Davis Vision doesn't answer the phone. You literally have to put them on Facebook Messenger or something, or hit the CEO up on LinkedIn to get in touch with them. Now they're called Versant, and they've merged and stuff. So no, you don't need to carry Marchand. And now let's look at the comments, because this is the most important part. Someone is saying, I thought there were minimums based on provider tier. And so there's this VSP tribal brainwashing that people just come up with. And it's how did you even come up with this, that there's minimums based on provider? And then someone is saying here, and I highlighted the most important comment on this thread, the highest, you sell Marchand product because you get a higher exam reimbursement. So question for everybody here, what should an eye doctor be paid for an eye exam? Give me your number. And also tell me what coast you're on, because I think that is important. West Coast versus East Coast should be different than the Midwest or reimbursement. Okay, so Chrissy says $220 for an eye exam. Who else? How much should an eye doctor be paid for an eye exam? I'm in Vermont. Cost of living is still higher because it's East Coast. And I would say, yeah, a good eye exam, maybe $150, $175. There we go. That's what Candy says. $75. Irene, why so low? I literally walk out of getting my bush on my head cut. I pay $35 for the haircut. And then I always get roped into a beard shave, neck shave, scalp massage. And I walk out with $50 of product because I can't walk out of the barber for less than $100 sometimes because of the competition. Well, I know there's competition, but sometimes I look at fees. I'm like, the lowest cost provider, is that the person I want to go to? There was a company in the early 2000s when LASIK was popping. And a lot of you probably remember this. LASIK. It was freaking everywhere, especially MTV, back in the day when that was super hot. Dr. Phil Hoops, he had the most expensive LASIK at the time, and he was the most busy. And he was in Kansas City. And there was all these discounters out there who were doing the specials, and he was like $5,000 or $6,000 back in the early 2000s. This guy built an empire because people thought, man, he's charging $6,000 for LASIK. He must be the best. And I think a lot of people think that way with healthcare too. We just have to find a way to get to those patients. And I know we all want to find the higher roller patients, but how do we find them? Okay, and let's see what Drew says here. Oh, how do we? Oh, okay. So Drew says, let's also not forget when a patient searches for your location as a VSP in-network provider, after they leave the VSP website, they are automatically sent an email to book with a corporate location. If somebody has an example of this email that gets sent out, I would love for you to forward it to me so I can broadcast that message so we can all see that. So what Drew is saying, when you authorize vision plan benefits, especially for VSP, within minutes, they're sending someone to iconic.com. So if you don't know about iconic.com, I'll show you that here in just a moment. Don't get me started about Iconic. That is so true. Okay. So there's different levels of providership, which is happening in this thread. And so we're going to go through that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen after we go through a few comments. This comment makes me so happy. And I wish I could mention the person who said this because he's brilliant. He says, you do not need to sell Marchand. Sell and carry what makes you happy. What could be a better statement than that? Eat what makes you happy. Now, I'm not saying go eat Domino's every night. I did eat Domino's last night, and it was wonderful because I live like a minute walk from it. But eat what makes you happy. Go where makes you happy. Work where it makes you happy. Carry the products that make you happy. One of my favorite frame brands is Goatee, and they make me happy. It's not that the styles of the frames are like super awesome and amazing, but the quality, the fit, the luster, and the selection of products, like everything just worked, and it made my life easy. Chrissy says, I miss pizza. All right, so let's go look at one other comment here. Okay. So in this next comment, if you want Premier status and the perks of being VSP Premier, you need to carry Altair or Marchand or both. Now, the key word that really frustrates me, actually freaking pisses me off, is what is perks? How could a vision plan have any perks? The only perk is for VSP to collect more revenue. So here in the bottom, they're saying that with VSP, you get 25% off care credit. You get $15 payback on Marchand or an Altair frames. And you get a free website. Oh my God, you get a free website like Wix and Squarespace doesn't exist and GoDaddy. Or you can hire a Filipino or someone from India to make a website. And you get additional payback on Unity, Zeiss, or Hoya. Guys, in the optical world and healthcare and business, nothing is free. If it's free, guess what? You're the product. I'm the product. We're all the product. So let's go take a look at VSP Premier. And the reason we're going through this is if you're taking it currently, don't shame yourself for it. It's okay. You made that decision. You can reverse it or you can roll with it. How do you explain the evilness of VSP? Candy is asking. You know what? I think some patients don't give a shit. They don't want to hear a spiel about being a poor doctor and making $40 on an eye exam. So I really want to go there with patients. On occasion, I would go down there with patients, though. You know, when they had a garbage plan and they're wondering why they still have to pay $400 for glasses. Most patients don't care. It's your problem, not theirs. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. Let's go to the VSP website so you can understand what we're talking about here. Whoops. I'm going to go. Okay. Our partnership to support your vision. I'm just going to read it out. The VSP Vision Premier Program invests in your practice with cost savings, benefits, business building tools, resources, and training to help you realize your practice vision. More like manage your practice takeover. And guys, while I'm on here, let's go to VSP Ventures. Oh, now you can sell your practice to VSP with peace of mind. Now, I'm okay with selling your practice. My dad, if you didn't know, sold his practice to private equity, Acuity Eye Care Group in June. It was the best decision of his life. He worked 40 years to build a practice and to sell a practice. Now, the politics of if you should pass a business on to, the doctor lineage is not what we're discussing here, but it's just saying like this is a very powerful group and you want to stay as far away as possible. And so the benefits that they're saying are, let me go to another tab here. So here's how it works. VSP Premier. you commit to buying, I don't know, $20,000-$30,000 in, let's say, Marchand frames per year, and then you'll get like $4 or $5 back per eye exam extra. How does that sound? You're going to give Marchand $30K a year in product business, and then they rebate you back $5. So you're like netting zero. Why would you want to carry every single product VSP has and be dictated by them? It's not a good business model. So, right now, I'm going to search for a VSP doctor. And so they have this marketing thing that they go over of, so I'm going to put in my hometown zip code in Kansas City. And here we are. We got a nice cluster of VSP locations. There's my dad here. I searched his zip code, so that's what it pulled it up. And German, no one speaks German at his practice. So I don't know what's up with that. Okay, so here we are. Kessler Eye Care, they're down the street. Kessler Eye Care is actually VisionWorks, VSP of VisionWorks. So that's why, and actually, they don't take Medicaid for some reason. So my dad's practice gets all their patients, which is awesome. So here's the VSP Premier practices. What the hell does VSP Premier mean to a patient even? Like that logo means nothing. And I think at one time VSP got in trouble because they were putting practices in chronological order based on VSP Premier status and not basing it on zip code. So I'm just trying to share with you, like, you don't got to go down that route. We're better than that in this profession. We're much better. All right, so let's move on to our next topics here. And I'm done with my rant on VSP. Oh, okay, one last slide here. If you so I asked, this is me. This is my comments. This is a purple one. I try not to get in too much arguments online because I'm so passionate. This nice optician is saying, if you enjoy helping patients get their max benefits, you should be selling Marchand products. And I responded, max benefits is garbage. The eyewear is overpriced. And so in this optician's mindset, she feels like she's doing the patient a benefit by giving the patients Nike eyewear so they can get an extra $50 off their glasses, because VSP will give a patient $50 extra or $20 when they buy a Marchand or Altair frame. But what you're essentially doing is giving your patient an overpriced garbage frame so they can save money. It's not a win-win. It's just an illusion that they're saving money, but they're getting lower quality eyewear. Okay. Okay, so I absolutely adore this person who posted this. This optician says, "Hi guys, can anyone get some shrink tubing from Hilco? Hilco's an optical distributor of all sorts of supplies. We no longer have an account, and this is our go-to." And this is brilliant. And what the comments say is, don't go to Hilco or don't go to Optisource or Dynamic Labs. I don't have a preference to any of them. I bought from all of those manufacturers and stuff. They're all fine. But if you're going to get a lot of optical products for your laboratory, those supplies add up over time. They cut into your profitability. Go to Amazon. Go to your local hardware store to buy supplies. That's pretty common. So you can get a buttload of shrink tubing for glasses through your hardware store. So be smart when you're going through these purchasing patterns. And these are the gems that you can learn about. And the reason that you would use shrink tubing is to connect a broken temple when that spring hinge pulls out and you can connect it together. Okay, what are you guys' thoughts when you see this? Give me your thoughts when you see this catastrophe here. Give me, like, I want to see 4 or 5 like really good comments of what's going on in this picture. Give the audience a little time here. Bob's killing it today. So Bob says, while we're talking about what's wrong with this picture, Bob says, at the end when you sell that Nike frame, that shitty overpriced Nike cold insert frame they got for next to zero, you were the asshat that sold them that garbage, not their shitty insurance. And that's exactly it. When the patient comes in and the frame's shrunken, it's bowed out, it's splayed, and nothing can be done to fix it because the frame is not meant to be adjusted, who's the idiot now? Yeah, great. You gave them this great discount. You decided to be part of that program, but now you're here fixing the problem. Now, we're kind of exaggerating it because, this doesn't happen every single day, but over time, you get 5 of these situations a year, 1 every month, and it beats you down. It beats your morale down of opticians. Okay, so treat glasses like jewelry. This is a really sad moment for an optician, and if you have any of your coworkers who do this, you absolutely have to politely call them out. You cannot go try 50 pairs of glasses on with a patient, and you end up with this disaster, this mess, and you've lost control, and they're confused in their head. So when you're fitting eyewear, you have to take a very direct sales associate approach, just as if you were getting fit with shoes. If you go to Finish Line, you're buying the latest and greatest Nike or Jordans, they ask you for your size. You don't just go into the back and choose your size and try a zillion frames on. This is not DSW. DSW is a miserable shopping experience for shoes, especially if you go to New York City. It's like thousands and thousands of pairs of shoes, and it's a total mess. You get so tired, like, oh my God, I'm looking for the right sizes. So if you have an optician doing this, you have to stop them and ask them. And here they are. The two comments here that really stuck out. Take control of the sale. The patient is just having fun and wasting your time, and that's exactly it. They're a kid in a candy store trying on frames. They don't realize that they're shopping all wrong. They have to be guided towards purchasing. Imagine like going to a buffet and starting with the pizza. I mean, you're going to be full. You got to start with the salad and hit the soup, then go to the pizza, and then the ice cream. That's how I would do it. So you got to take control of things. You got to show people the way. And I'm going to show you the way here soon on video. How do you be an effective salesperson, an effective optician to utilize someone's time wisely? Everybody has a timer. They have a kitchen time in their head. It's about 30 to 40 minutes. If you cannot make a sale within that period, your execution rate of converting somebody, and conversion means they bought a pair of glasses, goes way down. So you have to be able to use the time effectively. Chrissy says, I hire high-end jewelry salespeople for training. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like you have them come into your practice, Chrissy, and like educate, or like you try to hire them to work in your office? So I'm curious, Michael, like he says, I think a patient should be able to try on as many pairs as they want, but after a certain while, you have to step in. Well, I think so too. They should. But these situations happen over and over and over, and enough is enough. And then this is kind of a sad comment, guys. Everyone always says control the sale, but my boss won't let me kick people out when I realize 2 minutes in they are wasting my time. And to my response to this is, it's kind of a sad situation, but the joke's on you, Mr. Optician. You are a professional. An optician is a professional, but you're being treated like a sales associate working at Dillard's in your own office. So is that an employer that you want to work for? Yes or no? And you need to be able to step up to your office manager or doctor saying, look, I got to have some business autonomy. I got to have some leadership skills here, because we're in dire need of people that can step up to the plate and not be bossed around by somebody with dumb policies. So that's kind of my rant about, choosing frames. Don't let these pile of frames stack up, because you're taking imagine putting a $500 frame, mashing it all up. It gets one micro scratch on that frame. Metal gets scratched, and all of a sudden the frame's done. It's toast. It's done. You try and return it to the manufacturer, and they're like, no, this frame is scratched. This is not wear and tear. Try returning a Jacques Marie Mage. They're probably like, sayonara, sucker. That's all you, brother. And this is a really good comment. Nope, after a certain point, I am no longer humoring them. It's not an issue with the glasses, an issue with self-confidence, and I'm no damn therapist. And this is exactly it. A lot of times in optical, we are these therapists, these trades people, and I'm going to put the trades as in salon. What do you call someone who does nails? A nail stylist, or I don't know. A nail stylist, a barber. Imagine me sitting in the chair like, oh, and this happens to me all the time. I go in with a bushel of hair on my head, and they're like, so what do you want to do with your hair? I'm like, I don't freaking know. You tell me. Like, I've been coming here for 4 years straight. Like, tell me what to do. I want to be bossed around. I would have went to Sports Clips or Great Clips if I wanted that type of haircut. I'm looking for a professional to help change things up. And when you do that, they're the professional. They don't want to be a therapist. Imagine how much your barber, your hairstylist gets tired of talking. And this is just a funny meme. You know, my eyes, you stacked all these frames on each other. You stacked literally $5,000 of frames up together, and now it looks like trash. Okay, and this is the last one. We're going to move into the video section next. So this one is all about you can fix things, guys. If someone comes in and a frame has pulled out of the spring, don't just say you need to order a new frame. Don't say this is not repairable because the frame is discontinued. You can do this. You can provide great service. That way, you don't have to be a Marchand office. You're going to be the only optician in town, the only optometry practice in town that's repairing eyewear. Most just say, nope, you got to rebuy it. And, you know, you may make only 20, 30 bucks, which is kind of break even on repairing these things because you can fix it in-house, or you can send it to, SB Specs or Northwest Eye Repair to fix these. Cost you like 30 bucks. You're going to be the hero, and you've elevated your practice. You've elevated your optical because you went above and beyond to fix something. You didn't tell them no. And so that is the end of the presentation. And now we're going to move into the video way. So Melanie says, I pull for patients. I ask what they like, and I pull according to the RX. And now we're going to go over that. And then if anybody wants to come on here, and we're going to have hopefully we can have some discussions about the video. So I'm going to play a video. And again, this is a live format. If you want to come on your webcam, you need to be on your desktop, and you'll get to banter with me. And like I said, you'll get a cool mug that I will send to your house. And it's no charge. You can drink out of it. Every time you drink out of it, you'll be thinking of how to be a badass optician or eye doctor. So let's move into the video portion of this.
So we've spent about an hour looking through every frame in the gallery here, and we've narrowed it down to 6. I'm trying to get them to buy 3 of them, possibly 2. So a lot of times you have to show more than 1 frame if you're going to get 2 or 3 pairs of sold. So we've narrowed it down to 6. I'm having a hard time actually getting them to make a decision. So I'm going to use what we call a takeaway close, and let's see how this goes. Okay, now Perry, I know you're very indecisive. I'm trying to give you good advice here, and it looks like you're just not able to make a decision. I've recommended 1 pair for every day, a pair for when you want to have a sportier appearance, and a pair that we're going to make sunglasses in. So what I suggest is, since you can't make a decision today, let's just go ahead and I'm going to put them away, and whenever you're ready to make a decision, we'll have you come back, we'll start all over, and then maybe you'll be able to make a decision then.
I know. I always have trouble making a decision. Even when I go shoe shopping, it's just the worst thing ever. I generally end up buying 2 or 3 pairs because I just can't make a decision. But no, I got to make a decision today because I drove 40 minutes to come here because I love the doctor. You guys always do a good job. So I have to make a decision today.
Based on what I know about you and based on what your needs are, allow me to make a suggestion. So we're going to go with this one for your everyday. This one's a little bit more, a little bit larger. I'm going to do this one in your sunglass. And then I know you're on a computer a lot, so I'm going to go with this one for the computer here. So all I really need you to do is just initial here at the bottom, and that way we'll get started. Okay, thanks. Really good. You made a really good decision.
But I just don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if that, like, I never wear a black frame.
You know what? You're going to really like this, and the patients that we've made similar selections for also really like it. So I know how you feel. A lot of people have felt that way, but this is what we found. When we have this combination, everything will work out fine. So, all right. So we'll get started. Is next Friday okay for you to pick them up?
Oh, wow. We'll be done that soon?
Yes.
Wow. It's always taking like 3 weeks.
And are you going to be paying by cash today, or were you going to put it on your Care credit card?
No, I already did care credit for my dog. That stupid dog.
Well, let's just put it on your American Express.
Okay, yeah.
We have your number on file.
It's cool. I just got a new job, so I got a flex card too. So.
Okay. Okay, great. You did a good decision.
All right,
Thanks
thank
a lot, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Okay, so I did a couple things here. So there are some classic closing techniques. So one of them was we've spent too much time on it. Let's just not waste any more time. He's obviously not able to make a decision. Let's take him away. But he's invested time too. So he wants to make a decision. I just have to push it along a little bit. And also asked him, what options? Give him options. Is you cash or credit payer? And so those are easy decisions, as well as will it be ready? Is it okay if the glasses are ready like a week from Friday? So this is all more of an assumptive close. We're assuming that he likes what we have. We know he already likes the office. He likes the doctor. And we just have to get the sale closed. Patients are much happier when the decision process is over, and then they can relax about it.
Okay, so apparently no one wants me as a patient. I'm a miserable patient. And yeah, I did have a chinchilla candy. That is very funny. Maybe I'm gonna grow that. Who votes I grow the chinchilla for maybe the episode from 2 weeks from today? It'll probably take me that long to get that little thing back. Let me know, guys. Do I need the chinchilla? Yes or no? I'm gonna go with no, but if you guys force me to it, then I'm gonna do the chinchilla. Or maybe the chops. I could do some chops. Okay, so what did you guys think about this dialogue? Obviously, this is a little exaggerated. It's scripted with my dad. But the purpose was, as you noticed, we were looking at that previous example, and there was a crap ton of frames on the desk. And how did that happen? Well, it happened because I'm imagining the optician never pulled those frames away. They kept leaving them on the desk. And so there's probably 30 or 40 pairs on the desk, and the person kept getting confused and confused and confused. But what my dad was doing is he was pulling those frames away as I took them off, and he kind of set them over to the side. And by doing that, he was able to help my brain function and focus on actually purchasing the right thing. And then I had like that self objection. I was like, I don't know if I can wear black. And then he reassured myself. So the point I'm trying to make is that your thoughts are valued. People trust you. When you say pink glitter looks good, you should mean pink glitter looks good. If orange marmalade frame from Kirk and Kirk looks like absolute terrible on your skin tone, it makes you look pale and sick, then you need to tell the patient that. And, you can joke about it. So we're going to move on to next video here. All right. Hi, I'm Perry Brill. I'm going to teach you how to save a few minutes per patient in choosing frames. A lot of you might have big dispensaries or small ones, and if you just let the patients roam around and go to the big board of frames, it's really hard to select. Most frames look black from a distance, and you can't tell if it's round, square, oval, or whatever shape. So what I like to do is I like to sit the patient down and just simply take the chair out, put the patient down, kind of figure out what their needs, establish a little rapport for a minute, and then I'll simply grab a tray, maybe go choose, 4 or 5 frames, and that's the easiest thing you can do. A good optician within 4 seconds looking at the patient will know exactly what they need. You and I both know it's generally the first frame that you choose that they're gonna love. So save 5 to 10 minutes per patient by simply going to the frame board, picking it out, making it easy for them, and they're gonna love that high-end, concierge, high-touch, high-tech experience. It's old school though. It's super old school. Sit them down and save some time. Okay, by a raise of hands, or emojis, let's get an emoji storm going. By raise of emoji, who pulls the chair out for the person if you're comfortable with that? I'm a chair puller. So that's my emoji. I pull a chair out. The reason I do it, it's a nonverbal communication saying, park your nice little butt right here, and I'm going to take care of you. It's no different than opening the door for somebody. It's that communication saying, now is the time to relax. Do I always wear a blazer at work? I do wear a blazer at work. I work from home now. One day I'll own an office, probably just for myself to take naps in and get some quietness. But yeah, I like to wear a blazer at work, and maybe that'll be a great topic for discussion of what's a proper optician dress attire like, because it plays a huge factor into what you sell and how you sell, physical appearance. I was super stylish, and I still am stylish, I think. And people would be like, come in and be like, I want to work with that guy. And I was not on commission or anything, but they're like, I want to work with that guy. I want him to style me because he looks cool and I want to look like him. So if you want to increase your performance in your office, the way you dress is good. And also a reason I wear a blazer in office is I could put my PD stick in there. I could just hold things. You always carry crap around. Yeah, pajamas, scrubs. Yeah, I think complete bullshit. Now, everybody online is to say, no, I love my scrubs. Yes, sure. Not an optical, okay? Okay, so is there a reason some of you do not sit the patient down? I'm just curious. Is it the way the optical is set up? Is there not enough dispensing desk? We know that this is the most important thing you could possibly do is sit the patient down because you have full control of the sale. It's different experience. Just think about it. How many opticals, how many optometry practices in your area sit the patient down? Maybe 30% of the people, 20%. And then you hand them a bottle of water. You don't need a Jura. You don't need a Nespresso. Did you guys see that news story of all that cocaine that ended up in the Nespresso warehouse? And there's all these jokes online about, oh man, that's why Nespresso makes me so jittery. It was very funny. But the most simple things of customer service and tending to people is what keeps people coming back. You don't even have to have the creme de la creme of frames. You could be selling Nike frames, but when you sit someone down to sell them the Nike frame, all of a sudden they think you're amazing because you sat down with them. And it felt like a genuine experience. We are just optical. We do complete medical exams and medical testing. I'm glad you do that. The best of the best opticals that I know do it all. They do ortho-K, myopic control, dry eye, glaucoma test. They do everything. But in regards to this, this is a optical show. All right, I'm gonna play one more video, and if anybody wants to come on and chat with me here, this is an open discussion. Just say, hey, I want to come on. I have a topic I want to ask you, and I'm gonna open it up to Q&A. So now we're open for Q&A. Just if you want to come on, you have to be on desktop, and you can ask me any question. It doesn't have to be related to anything we talked about tonight. So Chrissy's turning on a crap laptop. Okay, a crap top, we'll call it. But yeah, if you want to come on, talk to me, and open Q&A. This is what it's about, and this is the only way we can learn is by hearing differing opinions. So I'm going to play one more video.
Coco, when mommy says stop, you say okay.
It's just a baby.
It's cute and all. If you want to convince your patient in the exam room.
Coco, when mommy says stop, you say okay.
I'm gonna pause it just for a second because it went really quick. It says, that's the doctor. And now she's saying it's time to pick out your glasses. And this girl's saying, but I'm just a baby. I want to buy my glasses online. We hear this in the exam room all the time. I want to buy my glasses online. Patients are becoming brutally honest about it. I would rather have a patient say I'm going online rather than going to the front desk and lying in the exam room. So I'm going to continue this. It's cute and all if you want to convince your patient in the exam room or at the dispense table that they shouldn't buy online. But you're really just being like this negative Nancy doctor optician. And if they're prepared to buy online before they even walk in your door, you've already made vital mistakes. You are showing the wrong brands. You are not transparent with your pricing. The vibe of your office is poor. The smells are off. You're not making it a welcoming environment. So there's so many other cues in your office that's going to promote people to buy. And it's not you saying, Don't buy online. Okay, so the reason I just showcased this video is because it goes back to what are these experiences that we are providing that are different. There's no difference buying online versus being self-service on an optical. If I were to go to America's Best, and no hit on America's Best, like there's a place for everybody. I'm just happy some people are getting glasses, right? But I would assume, and if anybody could chime in here, if you've worked in the corporate environment like that, what happens when somebody is shopping at a corporate optical? Can you guys let me know? Because I don't know. I mean, I go to the mall. I don't go to the mall anymore, but I've been to the mall many times. I walk past lens crafters, and what's happening? Everybody's like picking things like they're picking apples off a tree. There's no service. The only time there's service is when they're ringing up the order, is what I've seen. They hand them a tray, and it's this self-service shopping experience. So what happens in a corporate setting, guys? What's differentiate self-service from service and optical? Are people just picking things off a frame board, or is there actual service in a corporate optical? Okay. Chrissy says I was district manager for Pearl. Okay. And some Pearls are franchise, some are corporate owned, I think. So there could be different policies with how they present frames. Yeah, it's Luxottica. So what I'm trying to say is this patient in the exam room is saying, I want to buy online. And the doctor's there saying, no, you should buy it in my office. You can't force someone to buy in your office. If you haven't presented them a reason to buy in your office, why should they buy from you? They don't owe you shit. They don't owe you anything. And then on top of that, you have bad service because you don't sit the patient down and show them frames. And then you have a product selection that's unenthusiastic to the buyer because they've heard about everything in your office. So what's your incentive to buy from you? Now, as you know, I'm a super optimistic person. So these are things that we can elevate in our practices with very simple things. The smell matters. So I'm going to give you an example of a store that I freaking love. And I'm going to share my screen because I love it so much. And I want to show you what they did. So this is a men's, I would say like an upper super fashionable like men's store. It's not like a suit and tie store. It's just kind of like a casual store. But when you walk into this place of business, wow, it's amazing what they do. Okay, so the theme is, first of all, I was going to say it's plants. They have plants everywhere. Do we have any gardeners in the group here? By show of hands or hellos, any green thumb people? I am not. I should be because I do like to get my hands dirty in this. Irene. Okay, awesome, Irene. Do you have a garden, Irene? Or herbs? What do you like to do with plants? Maybe you could be our plant person. So let's take a look into this men's fashion store in Kansas City. See if I can get some internal images. Let's get rid of that. All right. About maybe I'll need to go to their Google Images and we can take a peek inside. So I generally would never come here to buy in store, but what these guys do is, these are two of the owners, but they have some sales associates too. And I consider these clothes professionals. If you go to JCPenney's, you go to Aeropostale, you go to Abercrombie, you go to Nordstrom. All right, sometimes they help you. Here's the size you need. Go try it in the room. But these guys genuinely care about the way you look, the way things fit. And they'll actually tailor your clothes. They'll hem your jeans. So I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to just see if I can get the images of their store. That way we can take a look why I support these guys and I buy in store. And this goes to giving someone a reason to purchase from you. Plants. They actually have someone that comes in once or twice a week, and they prune the plants, they water them, they feed them with nutrients, whatever all that means. Fantastic merchandising. go to a few other things. You know, you can have succulents. Having real plants in your office can make things feel more inviting. They have nice couches that are unique and comfy, because we know people come with their spouse, they come with a friend, and sometimes that person is just forced to go to a nasty waiting room with kids flying around everywhere, and that's not a great experience. And natural lighting is also very important. So what I'm trying to share here is stop and look and think about the way you present things. It's nonverbal things is why people are staying. Anyways, Chrissy, are you available to come on, or did you let's see if she has her laptop out. Let me check. All right. I'm going to invite you on stage, Chrissy. You'll probably get a notification, and I want you to have a good banter with me. Or you can just talk on audio. Either one, Chrissy, but let me know if you can hear me. So Chrissy is in, well, I don't know. She's all over the place, but I know she lives in Washington. You're on stage, Chrissy. I don't know if we can hear you, though. Does anybody have any questions in the audience, kind of as we wrap up, that I can answer for you here? Either about, dumb things that you have to ask about, optical, or how do we get that patient to calm down, sit, and prevent this mess of frames that end up on someone's dispensing desk? So as you go into this week, I want all of you to be mentors, because you've learned this skill set, or we've reinforced it, or you've heard it a zillion times because you're an expert optician here. Hey, Chrissy.
What? Hey!
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm dressed for my coming back party, so no.
Oh, it's Sparkles. Okay. All right. We have Chrissy.
No, it's Sparkles.
We have Chrissy on here, and she's like one of the most vocal people I know.
So.
And Chrissy, you're in Washington State. You've been an optician for how many years? 22 years. Okay. What was your first optical
22.
job?
Yeah. Walmart Vision Center. I started in the lab.
Walmart had a lab within the store.
Yeah. Yeah, Walmart used to have 1 hour labs, and then when they they closed that down, they sent me to school to be an optician. So here we are.
No, they don't.
They sure did.
Yeah, and you're in Washington, so you guys have pretty strong like optical legislature, don't you?
Mm-mm. I'm actually on the committee for that, and hell yeah, we do. We're gonna mess around. That's why when Drew was talking about training, we don't have frame stylists.
Well, it's like a big debate. So I was listening to another optical thing a couple weeks ago, and I don't know who did this study, but they were saying licensure or ABO certification does not necessarily equate to better frame fitting, better patient care. So there's just some of the most brilliant minds are in non-licensed states, so anybody can be good.
That's true.
But anything, it does with pay. That's for sure. But should a degree mean you get paid more?
Hell yeah. I feel like that we should band together, and everyone should make a higher living wage.
We're going to see here. We're going to be squeezed really, really hard when private equity says every optician is getting a minimum of $23 an hour. We're going to see a big revolt out of private practice, because everybody's going to be like, yeah, I'll just go work for private equity practices because they're paying $23 an hour minimum wage. And that's what corporations can do. They can just do that to attain high.
When I see that, so I mean, in Washington, in 2004, I made $21 an hour. I know we're not supposed to talk about wage, but when I see what other people are making in other states, I'm like,
this is the
why
platform.
would you even do this? This is a hard job. Well, mine especially. I lost part of a toe last week.
This is the time to talk about wages. 21,
but
in 2004
how can they support themselves
was fantastic. I mean, you were rolling it, though. Or spending
no, not anymore.
So let's talk about it then. What
Up in the
should be, let's say, an optician with 5 years experience, and I'm saying like they're actually a pretty good optician, okay? Like they actually know their stuff pretty well. You know, they can.
What do you mean by pretty good optician? So here's my thing as a manager, because you know it's business, it's also technical, taking care of patients. But what does that optician bring? Like, do they pay for themselves? Because it's very important that they have product knowledge to be able to generate revenue for their business. So if they're not doing that, but if they pay for themselves all day long, I think 29 is fantastic starting wage. So,
and you bring up a great topic. A lot of times, opticians have trouble during performance reviews because here they are going for a raise, and the doctor, the only thing that matters in a business is revenue. Literally, the only thing that matters is revenue. It's cute that you got called out in a Google review, and it's great you show up to work on time, and great that you bake brownies. But at the end of the day, the only way that anybody can get a raise is by showing that you put points on the board. So you bring up a really good subject.
Everyone in the office should have goals, like from start to finish. Like if you're an optician, everyone should have goals, and they should all pay for themselves. And if you pay for yourself and you're making revenue for the business, then you deserve a wage that matches that. So as much as we like to think that we are just medical, we're not. We're salespeople, and we bring revenue.
Look, even
so that's what we do.
Hey, even
and
most
we do that by
optometrists
providing very
are a lot of them are on production. So let's say you get paid, the doctor may get paid $115,000, but then they get like a percentage of, you know, their gross revenue or receipts, however it's calculated. So a situation I ran into, Chrissy, maybe you could help solve it for me, was I had an optician. She was making $22 an hour, and she had 2 years of experience on her belt. So she was already being paid very well. And this was a couple of years ago. And then she comes to me, she's like, I need more money. I'm like, well, what do I get from it? I'm your employer. I'm your boss. What do I get out of it? And all she came to me was, well, I'm do this and this, and I manage the lab and all that crap. I'm like, that's great, but we're going to have to figure out how to get you to 28 like you're asking for. So how does she get to that wage?
Yeah. So what I do is I set like goals. And so every month, I mean, I haven't been an office manager. I'm running an office kind of remotely, but manageable goals. And then we have raises every year to go with that. So every month we focus on bringing up, it's called ACT, like KPIs, key performance indicators. I learned that from Lux. So we focus on a KPI every month. And if they hit their KPIs regularly, like, you know, at the end of the day, we're a business. Then they you know, they get a raise based on that. So how much are they bringing in? What's their transitions? What's their second pairs? What's their conversion rate? You know, like anti-reflective, digital measurements, digital progressives. Sorry, I'm tired. I flew all night. And so if they can hit their KPIs, then they absolutely deserve a raise. But if they're not asking those questions and they're not recommending products that are helping our patients, then they don't deserve a raise. Like and that's just business, you know? So if they if they want a raise, they have to perform and pay
Makes
for their
complete
own
sense,
raise.
but I think something we struggle with in all facets is hiring. And so we get stuck in this loop of there's a shortage of opticians. And so we're like, well, shit, you know, they're still making sales, but I don't want to give them a raise because what I'm trying to say is there's a shortage of opticians, and people are just happy with who they have in their office. They're afraid to lose them, yet they don't want to give them more money, but they're afraid to lose them, and it's this like back and forth thing.
Well, I feel like for me, like enthusiasm is infectious. So like, I love what I do. I love it. I got it tattooed on my arm. Like I love what I do. So when you're enthusiastic, like you retain good staff. So you make it a fun, great environment. And now if they're not, how do I say this nicely? If they're not performing, like if they're not doing their job, which our job is selling things and taking care of patients, then they are replaceable with people that are passionate about our industry. So there's a shortage, but if you're like creating a positive environment where it's fun and you're going to retain those people and they're going to grow.
It makes sense. So, and I agree with you that overpaying somebody is a form of keeping them in your office. Ophthalmology is notorious. It would happen all the time to my dad. Ophthalmology would come in and say, hey, we'll pay you $35 an hour because
Dude.
ophthalmology only needs one optician, maybe two at the most. And my dad's like, I can't pay. I'm not going to pay you $35 an hour. You know, I'm not doing cataract surgery. Really?
It's opposite here. So they hire people in Washington because they think they're God, and then they pay them $14 an hour, which brings down the whole wage in our state.
Fascinating.
And then they just go through them like water. So
Okay.
we have the
Interesting.
opposite
Yeah,
problem here.
ophthalmology. Most of the time, the opticals are piss poor, but there is a few good ones in generally every city who, you know, they run a decent optical because cataract surgery, I think, only pays like $500 or $600, and you can make way more money selling a pair of glasses than doing cataract surgery without all the surgical supplies and the referrals and all the drugs and all that crap. All right, Chrissy. Well, thanks for coming on and raising the bar. Yeah, we're gonna have
Happy to
to
be back
in
in
a
the
quick
States.
summary. Can you tell us what you did? I would love for you to come on and tell us all about what you do in Alaska. But what have you been up to recently?
Well, this time I went to the Arctic. I was at the Arctic Ocean in little villages around Barrow, Alaska. So they're called Eskimos. We don't call them Eskimos. They're indigenous people, and they have very limited access to eye care. So it's very hard to get to those villages. So jump on tiny planes, which I've learned to fly from village to village, and carry in a whole exam lane with us, a whole optical shop, and get real buff. And then just go help people see better and kiddos.
What's generally like
and
the prescriptions you're experiencing?
So that's what I do. So oh God. So okay, this is like,
Okay.
I can't say this. The gene pools are very small there, very small. So so a lot of, like, you go to a village and they have like all +6s and none of them have glasses. The kids are not learning. Or like one village, they were all super high minuses and they're wearing Zenny glasses that are taped together, and like it's sad, but bringing proper eye care to them is so important to me. So making sure, but so lots of weird prescriptions and lots of weird eye diseases that get treated normally here in the States, like no big deal. They don't have as much access to that. So you see a lot of like real sad stuff that would normally have gotten fixed immediately. And it's not fixed. So dealing with that too, but just going to little villages and helping people see,
Eating
and
whale
playing
meat.
with the kids and eating whale meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Right. We forget that. And actually, I'm going to be doing something else here, hopefully in a month or two. I'm connected to someone who's delivering glasses in Liberia, and they have this clever system of creating eyewear. It almost looks like Lindbergh. It's like wire, and they wrap it, and they can make them on the spot.
Yeah, no, that's I know him. Yeah, I brought those up with me and they weren't successful. Just so you know, the clipping together, I had bad luck with those.
I don't know. This company
what is that called?
company's called Good Vision.
Yes.
And I would
Those
like to
are really
go on
cool.
a trip to Liberia. Yeah, it's like this really cool, clever system they do
Oh, it's a
to make
different one
eyewear.
then.
Because generally eyewear is donated, like, you know, from the Lions Club, and they just fix up the frames and stuff. But this is different. But alrighty. Well, I'm gonna kick you off here, Chrissy. But thanks for being on here. So. All right, everybody. Well, that concludes episode 6. I hope you enjoyed some of the conversation here, took something away from it. And if you're not in our Facebook group, I'm just going to pop this on here. We have pretty good discussions on there, actually really good discussions just about business and optical. We bring up a lot of sensitive topics. Next time, invite some of your friends. I really appreciate all of you for being on here, engaging. And this is the crap that you're not going to learn online. And that's why it's so important that we have these, you know, engaging conversations and just letting the cat out of the bag. So take care, everybody. Thanks, Michael, for being here. Really appreciate it. See you, Seda. Thanks. See you guys.